Hello. I'm Izzy Flores, and I'm deciding to journal vlog, um, how I've progressed this week in trading. So I'm a new day trader. My new means I'm still learning. Like I'm literally a newbie. So I have one prop firm account, and then I have a demo account where I'm currently building a sample size of a strategy that I've been using for, I would say, maybe the past few weeks consistently. I was a little all over the place before that. So today's journal, that I just want to go over some weaknesses and some strengths. I should write down my strengths, right? Because I feel like a lot of us focus on our defects and what we did wrong and what we need to work on, and not necessarily the wins also. So this week was April, let's see, this week was April 20th, 4/20 to April 24th. So we have a 5-day futures trading week. I trade NASDAQ. I currently got a license plate that is arriving soon. It says NQ Izzy. Yeah, so that's going to be coming soon, and I'm excited. I've been on this trading journey for, I would say, I feel like the first time I ever bought prop firm accounts was in the end of December. So it was literally like the last week of December. I bought 2 or 3 Top Step accounts and blew them. I think like 2, and then I jumped over to Apex. And I won't even remember January. January was a blur. By February, I have 5 evals. I was copy trading with Trade Sinker, and I had a good, I would say out of the whole month, I had like 2 good weeks. There was a lot of volatility that week in NASDAQ, and I remember just fighting for my life to try to make some gains to pass these evals. And I was only up, I think, 2,000. So I was like 1,000 away from the goal of the 3K profits on those 50K Apex accounts. And yeah, I just started trading Asia session to try to get in the wins. And Lord and behold, before you knew it, I just blew the 5 evals. By the end of that month in February, it was already where I found somebody that I look up to their trading. His name is Rich Ko. You could type in RICH, and then KO is his last name. And he uses ICT strategies. And I initially wanted to get on his mentorship, and it was a little too pricey for me out of pocket. And I didn't have the best credit, so I didn't qualify for the payment plan loan situation. So I signed up for his live stream, and I started learning a lot. Yeah, I would say between February and March, I went through so much information. I also bought a course from him outside of the mentorship, and that course helped just propel me more into understanding trading and some of the technical analysis aspects of trading, not just clicking and buying and selling and following price and running after price and chasing it as it moves without understanding. So yeah, I started following this guy and doing his live streams, but even then, like, I still struggled as a new trader to not over trade and trade outside my session, to not trade the strategies that weren't mine, because my brain was focused on the eval and the test. And that's where I self-sabotaged, because it's like, it's a challenge. So to me, I want to do it and get it out of the way with. Do it as quick as possible. And for some people, it could work. They have great risk to reward, and they can increase their risk, and then just, they don't mind blowing the account if it doesn't work. But for me, I would use like moderate risk. And because of that, like, I haven't blown accounts, I would say, since last month. 2 got blown this month because of my Trade Sinker, but I have kept accounts longer, with the new system, with seeing, some improvement. I've been able to keep my accounts longer. And I'm still in the middle of what is the challenge account, and pass it immediately, and just take your time because you're going to pass it eventually anyways. If your strategy is like on point and you have your edge, it's a matter of time before you're going to pass it anyway. It's not about the quickness, it's about consistency and results. So I would say that, yeah, moving into April, these last 2 weeks, or already finishing April, you know, I've just been focusing more on dialing in my risk reward, dialing in my errors, and where I keep, like, if I don't think a point matters, you know, that's where I've been before, where I'm like, just a point. But that point is where you can get stopped out, wicked out, get out, you know, you're out of the trade, you lose the 150, 250, however much. I used to risk more, like 500 per trade, to try to get like 1,000 a trade, and it's like, now I risk, like, on average, I would say on average in the last 2 weeks, probably 200. But now moving into this new take profit eval I have, the 25K, like I'm risking like 100, 150. So I'm down 2 trades. So I'm in 300 and change drawdown currently. One of those reasons is because I didn't have my stop loss on point. So yeah, this week I will say that was just a little bit of an overview of where I'm at. You know, for people who are on their trading journey, like, I'm here with you. Sometimes it's painful. Like, lo and behold, like, I have almost no fear with normal life things whatsoever, but I will cry if I'm that angry and I can't revenge trade. Like, I feel like in the last 2 weeks at some point I did almost, the trading brought me to almost tears, just out of frustration. Like, I'm one of those people that when you get mad, like, you want to smack something or take action or take revenge, and I can't with trading because that's where I don't want to mess up my shit more than it's already messed up, you know. The ads from this, let's turn this off. So yeah, that's a little about me. I've been trading for, again, since I would say the end of December, January, February, March, April. So this is month 4. And honestly, like, in some ways I see people doing more wins than me, but I at least understand what I'm doing and why. And I'm building a really good foundation. So I'm not really mad at my progress. Sometimes I'm mad that I don't have, you know, certain, sometimes I get jealous of the amounts of money I see some of my peers making. But at the same time, I hadn't cultivated the strategy yet. Like, I still am building my sample size. And the author of this book, Mark Douglas, wrote Trading in the Zone. And Trading in the Zone is a book that just helps you change your mindset about trading. And, like, it's not just about chasing the dollar or profiting the dollar. It's about having profits in dollars as a result of the consistency of your strategy, your risk management, your psychology, and just your routine as a whole. So the past 2 weeks, I've been really working down on my routine. I didn't even know how to take partial profits before, and now I do. I didn't even have clear risk reward ratio, like if I'm shooting for a 2R or a 3R when I was trading by myself until like 2 weeks ago, you know. And this is crazy because, like, what I thought was trading initially is not, and I'm just evolving pretty fast actually. But I'm gonna pull up one of my journals. I will say that I had the take profit account. I've had it for like 3 days. I will say that I've traded 3 days on it, and right now I'm negative 300 and change, and negative $359.65. That's from 3 trades, negative $300. And again, one of those trades was because I didn't incorporate my stop correctly, and I used a 9-point stop instead of a 10-point stop. And then the other trade I had that was a miss was, it was a order block next to a fair value gap, and right under that was another order block. But that other order block was from, hours before, and it wasn't close to my fair value gap, so we couldn't technically use it. I couldn't really use it. Our mentor took the same trade as me, that one, and we just missed the entry, and it happens. Yeah, the other $22 loss I had was like a $22 loss was price wicked me out again. So honestly, like what I want to say is that I know some traders have huge stop losses, because even shooting for 20-point stop is a lot, for me at least, and that's a little too much. I want to learn with the smaller point stop loss, smaller risk, so that I profit more in the long run. So even though it means that I'm winning less trades right now, having a tighter stop loss is going to help me improve my snipes, the snipe. And I'm fine with that for now. So I would say those were my 3 losses from my take profit account this week. My other account, yeah, take profit journal. What is this? TBT logs. Okay, so this is my other one. So like you see, like I log my trades. This account is up 850. So total profit for the week was about $499, I believe. So a little shy of 500. And this is just from my strategy that I'm using. It's just top and bottom ticking, which I can get into eventually. Again, I'm making this series as more of a journal of my progress. It's not necessarily, if you guys want to join along, you can. I know trading isn't accessible to everyone, and I feel like it is, but it isn't, because you have to learn what you're doing. So eventually I can include some stuff here to help you all learn. I'm on my journey, so yeah, I don't know how much I can help too much yet while I'm in the thick of it, but soon, eventually in the next 2 or 3 months, I do want to start helping beginners at least start to understand what they're doing, and maybe y'all will have good luck and all that good stuff. So yeah, so some of my wins this week. So on this account, I had 2 wins and 1 loss. So the loss I had was a long, and again, the price didn't hit my order block and my entry for my strategy. It hit the one right under. So price is usually drawn to certain areas of imbalance just naturally. And again, my strategy incorporates an order block and a fair value gap. So there are a lot of order blocks. So sometimes price will want to go to that other level of liquidity that's deeper into the chart than mine, and that's fine, because my edge is based on what it is. So again, $160 down just because price chose to hit a deeper level of liquidity and take that instead of mine. But again, if I were to position myself farther from my entry, just based off of missing 2 trades, it could just throw me off. Like, I'd rather have my snipe ability and proximity to the fair value gap of that imbalance retracing than have a deeper order block that I put myself into, because I think, oh, well, that's the level it should hit because mine's too close to the fair value gap. It might miss mine and then shoot for the deeper one. Like, I can't guarantee that my trade will work. My edge is not going to be the same if I keep shooting for a deeper order block, because God knows that if that one's been used before, if it was too far back in time, that even a few hours, that it just might be irrelevant. So again, I'm not going to change my strategy based on something like that. Sometimes you win and sometimes you lose, but my strategy is what it is, and it's an order block next to fair value gap. On a time basis, but I can discuss my strategy later. And then I took 2 wins. One win was a sell. So basically, price had formed a 15-minute order block. It was around 9:20 something. And then I took a short towards, I believe it was London low, into that fair value gap towards London low. And I had a positive of, I risked $150.50, and I profited $633.50, which this is 6R. Okay, maybe 4.5R. I need to change that. And the second trade I took was a long, and it was as price was just closing off a 15-minute candle. I had just formed a 15-minute order block, and it was actually retracing back towards the upside, towards the higher levels of liquidity again, where it was kind of trapped in consolidation. And that was yesterday. So yesterday was kind of like a consolidating looking day. Price had already made all-time highs, which I think we were up to 27,300 and change, maybe 400 and change, because I stopped looking on NASDAQ currently. So that trade, that was a 15-minute order block back up towards higher levels of liquidity, I had profited. It was in the hundreds. I think I risked like 150, and I just took a 1R, like a break even. So I left at $217 in profit. And I did that because, again, price was starting to consolidate. I didn't like the way it bounced, so I wasn't really willing to let my trade play out fully. I did push my stop up to break even, and price started to look like it was just doing some funny business, so I exited the trade. So again, those are like my 6 trades for the week. I took 4 losses. I would say one of them that could have been preventable, 2 of them that were deeper order blocks, which I'm not willing to change. So that's half of my trades already. And the last trade that I lost, let's see what that was. The other loss I took was on, I think it was on Monday. That one also got wicked out. So wicked out basically means is sometimes price will hit your level, but it'll go either too fast or too deep into your level. So it's not the same as where it could have had the other target under my level. It's a little different where it hits deeper into the level itself, not a level under, it's deeper within to the level, which means you probably would have needed a higher stop loss. But at that point, if you're risking like double your risk, triple your risk, it's just not worth it in my opinion. So I'd rather just take the $100 L versus risk $400 and then it's still not hit, and then now I took a $400 L. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was those 3 trades that were, 4 trades that were a loss and the 2 that were a win. So even with 2 wins, I was still in profit. I would say $499. That's a little crazy, right? And again, I'm still learning the technicalities of this stuff. Again, I'm still learning that every point of a stop loss matters. I'm still learning that, no, I'm not going to go for the deeper level to be safe, because that's not my strategy. You know, if it's outside my strategy, I'm not going to do it. And I'm still implementing levels in my strategy, factors like the news, like gaps, new week opening gaps, daily opening gaps, stuff like that into my strategy. Because before it was more just London low, London high, but now I'm also including data high, data low, which is news, because news does affect the volatility going into the market, especially if the news hit at 8:30, and it, you know, that hour between 8:30 and 9:30 is usually an hour where price was affected by news. So again, there's multiple factors that affect price. And for me, this past week was a lot about refining the strategy, being able to lay it out more and see it clearly with my bare hand, learning how important one point in a stop loss is. Because again, when I took that L on live stream, and that was a trade that was given to me, like they literally just put that out in layman's terms in my face, like I was a 4-year-old. To have people pass their evals with that trade, like 4 evals in one, and for me to lose it by 1 point, it made me so hurt. And you know what? I hurt myself because I didn't see it as something that was important, and it was. And I didn't take it as seriously as I should have, you know? And this isn't necessarily about the money anymore. It's about learning a skill the right way. And it's crazy because I heard myself talking 5 months ago, 4 months ago, I wouldn't even listen to myself right now. I would just be like, fuck you. I'm about to make all these gains. Come see me. And do nothing, and then make $1,000 gains and then give it back, and then be inconsistent and give it back. You know, so I'm just happy to not be in that place anymore and to continue to learn. Trading is about just consistency with your edge. So like whatever you know works, just stick to that and that only, and trust it and follow it like it's code, it's law. Follow it like life or death, you know? And you'll see some gains. So this week I also learned how to take more partial profits and exit trades and break even, which is so incredible because before it was just like you feel more powerless when you don't have that skill to take profits on the whim as it's happening in front of your face. But like I still need some more practice, but it's better than just hitting a limit, hitting or not hitting, and bam. Being able to adjust, move your stop loss up and take partial profits during a trade is amazing. I will say that. And I was using a trade sinker last week, and again, it lost me 2 accounts, and I didn't flatten. And I was up like $1,000. And every week is a new lesson. And this was the week of April 20th to April 25th. So I'll leave you guys with that. This is a 20-minute video on my journals for the week. And it was a win. It was a win. And I'm Izzy. I'm a queer trader.